A lot of people have certain beliefs about personal finance that they learned while they're growing up. It could be from their family, from their friends, or even maybe your parents. But some of these beliefs, if you still hold them until today, it could really negatively impact your personal finances. So in today's video, I'll be going through the 8 most common ones I always hear. Let's get to it. So the first one is, some people say, I will start saving money once my income goes up. The reality is that day will never come, because when your income goes up, your spending and your lifestyle will also go up. This is what we call lifestyle inflation. So in reality, you just keep delaying your start towards your saving journey or your investment journey. And by the time you realize it, you are in deep trouble, or you are very far behind what you should have at your age. I know that for some people, money is extremely tight. You have, let's say, not a very high salary, you have a lot of expenses and commitments that you have to pay every single month, and you don't feel like you have any money left over to save. But you don't have to save a huge amount. No one says that you have to. If you can only do 50 ringgit, then do that. If you can only even do 10 ringgit a month, then at least just save that 10 ringgit and put it into a different account. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, saving 10 ringgit or 50 ringgit a month even is not going to alter your life drastically. It's not that by just saving 50 ringgit a month, you can retire a very nice, comfortable life. But the important part here is to build this saving habit. Now, on a low income, when you're stretched, you can save 50 ringgit, but as your income goes up, it will feel very natural for you to start saving more, maybe 100 ringgit, maybe 200 ringgit. And this is what we want. We want to build the habit of saving very, very early on. The next money belief that will hold you back is kind of related to the previous one, and that is, people always think, I don't need to worry too much about my retirement now because I'm still young, right? I'm still in my 20s. I will just save this for when I'm older. People would obviously rather just enjoy the now. Enjoy your youth, right? You're not young forever. When you're older, when you're earning more money, then you will start to seriously consider retirement. The problem is, before you know it, the day will come. It feels like it's so far away until it's not. And once you get to a later stage in life, let's say you are in your late 30s, early 40s, and you haven't saved anything for retirement, it will be very difficult for you to start then, because you need to do a lot of catching up. Now, I don't want to discourage you guys who are maybe in your late 30s or your early 40s who are watching this video and you haven't started saving for retirement. But the reality is, if you start late, it's going to be a lot harder, because I'm assuming that you guys have more commitments now with family. So you don't have that much more disposable income to save or invest. And you don't have a lot of experience saving or investing your money. If you just want to start investing at 40 years old, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to make some big mistakes which you really can't afford to do. Again, if you can't afford a lot of money to invest right now for your retirement, then just start small. Because we're young, or if you're in your early 20s, especially a fresh grad, or even your early 30s, we have a lot more time until retirement, which means we can really take advantage of the power of compounding. And it can really work its magic. So to illustrate this, imagine there are 2 different investors. The first investor starts early. So they start investing at 25 years old. They save $5,000 per year, and they only do this for 10 years until they're 35 years old, and then they completely stop investing for retirement. Then there is investor 2, who starts later at 35 years old. So he tries to catch up. He saves $5,000 a year as well, but because he started at 35, he will do this every single year for the next 30 years until he hits retirement. By the time they both hit 65 years old, investor 1 actually has more money in the bank just because they started investing earlier. So even though they invested less money, right, $5,000 per year for 10 years versus $5,000 per year for 30 years, the first one still has more money because they started earlier. That is the real power of compounding, and that is why you want to start early. Now, I know a lot of people will start saying, what's the point of saving so much money for retirement if we don't know how long we'll live? We should just enjoy the now, right? The now is there, so we should enjoy it, right? And then, they start to say, what if I save and save and save for my retirement and I never get to enjoy that money? Well, my question back to them is, what if you don't save and then you live a nice long life and you don't have enough money to sustain yourself? I would much rather be in the first scenario. So yeah, it's just about finding the balance between enjoying the now and saving for the future. But saving for the future, we still have to do it. And if you can do it early, it'll be even better. And then the third money belief that is holding you back is the last reason that people say why they don't invest, which is, I don't invest my money because I'm not sure, or I don't know how to invest. So maybe I shouldn't, right? I don't know what I'm getting myself into, so I should not put my money here. This is just wrong, because these days it is so extremely easy to invest your money. You can literally just watch one 15-minute video and you'll already know how to invest in ETFs, which is good enough for most people. Yes, I am plugging my own videos, so yeah, check it out if you need it. And even if you don't want to learn how to buy your own ETFs, open a broker, and do all those things, the existence of robo-advisors like Stashaway, like Versa, like Wahid Invest, it makes it even easier. Literally, all you have to do is download the app, sign up for it, answer a simple questionnaire so that they know your investment goals and your risk tolerance, and then they'll handle all of your investments from then on. It's literally that simple. If any of you guys want to check out these robo-advisors, I'll leave the links to download them down in the description of this video. So we've talked a lot about building our wealth. Now let's talk about protecting our wealth. And the fourth money belief that a lot of people have, I've seen this many times, they think that insurance is a scam. And I get where they're coming from, right? You pay and pay your premiums every single month. And if you don't end up using your insurance, then you'll feel like your money is just burnt, right? It went to waste. And I agree. If you don't use your insurance, it's literally going to waste. I've seen this firsthand before. People that I know, they think that insurance is a waste of money, so they don't have it. And then when the day comes that they're actually sick, then they're not able to get the best care because they can't afford it and they don't have insurance. I would say that once you've gotten to a good income level, or once you've built up a certain amount of wealth, then it is, to me, I would say it's a no-brainer for you to get at least medical insurance. You don't want to get to a scenario where one day, let's say, something were to happen to you, touch wood, and you have to take out your savings just to pay for your hospital bills. It's extremely hard, first of all, for us to build up that savings, and medical costs are extremely high. Imagine taking 10 years to save up 100,000 ringgit, and then just like that, it's all gone. And think about it this way. If you never end up using your insurance, then that's not a bad deal, right? It means that you've lived a nice, long, healthy life. I would rather be in this scenario where my money goes to waste if it means that I would be healthy for the rest of my life. Seriously, if any of you guys think that insurance is a scam, then just speak to people who have had insurance cover their hospital bills, and you will know how much it can be a lifesaver. I'm not even like an insurance salesman. I don't even sell insurance, so I don't make any money off of this, but I really do think for a lot of people, insurance, especially medical insurance, it is a really good thing to have. Moving on to the fifth money belief that will hold you back, and this one is a bit of a spicy one. So some people, they have been dealt a bad hand in life, which means maybe, let's say, they didn't get the best education, they don't have a degree, or maybe they just didn't start off at a very good job, which means they don't have a lot of skills, or their salary is not very high. So they think to themselves, right now I'm broke and nothing's going to change because, it's impossible. I know it's tough, and I do acknowledge that I am lucky because I managed to get a good education, I got a degree, and I also managed to land some really good jobs, especially my first job, which helped me launch my career. But the thing is, if you think you will never make it out, if you think you will never not be broke because of your current situation right now, then you really will never be. It's not easy, that's for sure. I know that everyone who is broke, everyone who is feeling stuck in this situation right now, they will want to be out of it. They will want to have money, they will want to be rich. But you gotta work towards it because the things that you want in life, like not being broke, everyone wants it as well. So it's not meant to be easy. This is gonna sound very cheesy, but honestly, sometimes all it takes is for you to sort of reframe your mindset. Start to think, what can I do to get myself out of this situation? For example, you can start trying to build up your savings, no matter how slow. Like I said before, if you can only do 10 ringgit, just do that. Take as much time as you need, but you should build up your savings because this will really help you out. Once you've done that, you will feel a lot more comfortable with your personal finances. You will feel a lot less stuck to your current job, and you can start considering, riskier career alternatives. And if you can save money, which is something that you never thought you could before because you've always been broke your entire life, then you start to think, if I can do this, which I thought was impossible, then I can pretty much do anything, right? Anyway, next one, let's go to the sixth money belief that can be holding you back. And this one, again, I hear it a lot, and that is people think that you need to own a house to be considered successful. Your aunties, your uncles, every time it's Hari Raya or every time it's Chinese New Year, they will start talking about, their kids, your cousins, and they all buy their first house and how they're so successful. And then you might feel a bit, I wouldn't say jealous, but you would feel a bit like you're left out, you're left behind. Why do I not have a house? And then maybe you think, maybe I should buy one as well. Well, in my opinion at least, owning a house is not the most important thing these days. First up, houses to me, they're not very good investments anyway. There are a lot of better alternatives out there. And the second thing is, renting is a very viable option with a lot of benefits as well. Yes, owning a house can be nice. Despite all the benefits I talk about renting, I do plan to have a house or my own house at least in the future. But you should not buy a house just because a lot of people expect you to have it. Or even worse, you should not buy a house that you cannot afford or when you're not ready just to show others that you've made it. You don't need it. Any money that you save by not buying a house can just be invested elsewhere, right? And like I said, there are, in my opinion at least, a lot of better alternatives. It is much, much better to have a big bank account, a big stock account while renting a place, rather than having a huge house but not having any savings. So my advice is just take your time until you're really, really ready to buy a house. And even then, only buy when you really find a place that you like. Don't just buy a house for the sake of buying a house because, everyone has one. Now, let's talk about the next one. And this is probably the most widespread belief out there. I've heard many, many people talk about it, but I just don't agree. And that is, people seem to think that credit cards and loans in general are bad and you should avoid them at all costs. Now, first a disclaimer, I must admit that can be very, very bad. I've seen a lot of people drown in all of these loans that seems impossible to recover from. But at the end of the day, you have to know that that is just a tool. Whether it's good or it's bad will just depend on how you use it. If you are responsible with money, then loans can be a really good thing. It can be actually very beneficial to your personal finances. For example, you could borrow money at a lower interest rate and then invest it to get better returns. A very good example of this is ASB financing. I think I'm paying maybe 3.8% on that loan, so I'm borrowing money at 3.8% and I'm investing it into ASB, earning 5% plus. Why wouldn't you do this, right? Then there's credit cards, which I use almost exclusively for all of my spending. I use it so I can build my credit score and I can also get a lot of cashback. I mean, just from using my credit cards every single year, I'm getting more than 1,000 ringgit in cashback. So yes, it is a lot of money to be made. Assuming that you paid off on time, which I do, you don't pay any interest to the bank, I'm just earning pure cashback. I know that for some people, being debt-free gives them a lot of peace of mind, and that is a goal that they really, really want to hit. And if this is you, then yeah, by all means, just go for it. What I'm just trying to say here is that don't go in with a fixed mindset that all loans are bad, any form of debt is bad, and you should clear all of them as soon as possible, because maybe that's what's been ingrained into you by your parents or friends. Because like I said, loans can be good. It depends on which one. And then the final money belief that could be holding you back is thinking that money will solve all your problems. I don't have to do anything to fix my situation now because money is a solution for everything. And many people think this, right? They think, if only I had X amount of money, if only I had 3 million, then all my problems would go away, right? Well, it wouldn't. The reality is you would just have a bigger bank account, but a lot of your problems will still stay the same. If you have toxic relationships, then money is not going to make it magically disappear. It's still going to be there. Maybe money will help mask the toxic relationships, but at the end of the day, underneath all that money, there will still be issues. And if you have bad money habits, it doesn't matter how much money you have now, because at the end of the day, if you don't know how to manage it, you'll just lose it all. There's a lot of these stories about lottery winners winning millions and millions of dollars, but at the end of the day, after a few years, they just burn through all of it and they go back to their normal jobs because they just don't know how to manage money. So yes, having money is great, and there are a lot of benefits to building your wealth. That's the entire point of this YouTube channel, right? But if you think that money will solve all your problems, then you need to reconsider. So these are the money beliefs that I hear quite a lot actually, but I don't really agree with. Let me know in the comments of this video, what is a money belief that you once had, but now you realize it's completely wrong. Thanks for watching this video to the end, guys. Give me a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.